And he's mentioning my name saying that he's got issues with me. My question is, Nai Wicknell, kana dai wangu any problem? Wadi kuuya ku inbox tinyatsotaura zvakanaka. Anyway, let's hear what Wicknell has got a problem with me about.
Hanzi na rutendo matinyare. Hanzi ndechita say I'm the biggest gold dealer in Zimbabwe. I'm stupid, you know. I've got to say that Mariga has the end of some sanctions. I've got to watch up 100 million in the government. Be patriotic and all genuine. We're all but that way. And those are Gushungu, Katie, Gushungu, the Monoisa.
According to the video, Wicknell has got two issues with me. He says, first of all, I say that he's the biggest gold dealer in the country. And number two, he says that I'm bitter that the president did not pay me $100 million for removing sanctions of Zimbabwe. So I'm attacking him and I'm attacking Kuda Tagwiri. Here's the truth of the matter. I don't really have a problem with the fact that the government of Zimbabwe has not yet paid me for removing sanctions on Zimbabwe. Because I know that the whole world saw me launch a campaign against sanctions, get sanctions successfully removed of Zimbabwe. And so at some point, the Zimbabwean government will have to pay me for work that I did and everybody saw me doing. Wicknell knows that. All the people that are trying to use this payment issue against me know that I have no issue with the issue of payment. But they want to sully my reputation because I am refusing for the president of Zimbabwe to amend the constitution, to violate human rights in order for him to prolong his stay in power without a referendum. Over and above that, Wicknell is not happy that I wrote 3 articles this week in which I was saying that I do not support the president extending his term in office because he has robbed the country of gold revenue by allowing private individuals to fly our gold out of the country with their private jets instead of getting an institution of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe known as Fidelity Printers and Refineries to refine our gold and export our gold out of the country to ensure that we have a return of our royalties, a return of our taxes, and that all payments for that gold is given to the bank, and then 30% of it is paid to the miner in local currency so that our Reserve Bank can begin to grow its foreign currency reserves. So in one of my articles, I mentioned the fact that there is a businessman who has a private jet who's become the biggest gold dealer in the country who is transporting the gold of the president. I didn't mention a name. I didn't mention a race. I didn't say anything about this person. But today, Wicknell has decided to go to the door and to take a jacket that is hanging on a hanger and to wear it. If the jacket fits and if you've taken it, maybe it's yours. Then, of course, everybody knows that Wicknell Chivayo's brother was arrested at OR Tambo International Airport with 12 kgs of gold that he was trying to smuggle into South Africa. And newspaper articles have all claimed that that gold belongs to Wicknell, who is a runner for the president of Zimbabwe. Wicknell has never refuted that. The president has never refuted that. So that information is in the public domain and it's fair comment to talk about it. Then, of course, there's Temba Mliswa, a former MP, a relative of the president, and the spokesperson of the president's campaign to extend his term. We had a meeting with him a month and a half ago with some business people from South Africa, and he took us through intricate details of how Wicknell Chivayo is the biggest gold dealer in the country who is moving the president's gold. Then the wife of Wicknell Chivayo has opened a case in Pretoria of fraud in which she also outlined some of these issues, but she's complaining to the Prosecution Authority of South Africa that that case is being stalled because Wicknell Chivayo is paying bribes. Then on the issue of sanctions, Wicknell, you sit on the parallel cabinet of the president. You know that I got a mandate from the president, his advisor, and also his ambassador in South Africa to fight sanctions. Hence, you saw us going to court against the banks of South Africa, Joe Biden. You saw us calling the UN Human Rights Council, who declared the sanctions illegal. Hence, South Africa began to support us in our fight against sanctions. You saw me bring the US Congress to do an impact assessment that brought up a report that asked Biden to remove those sanctions. The work I've done in the fight against sanctions is more than you will ever do for Zimbabwe. So why shouldn't I get paid? You're taking gold to Switzerland now because people like me removed sanctions. So it's very, very rare to see Wicknell Chivayo taking time to make a video about a person and then going for 2 days making videos about the same person. So here he is making another video about me. And so I wonder, why is he making another video about me? What is so important about this Rutendo Matinyarare that Wicknell has to make videos like this? But at least what I like about this video is he straightens out a lot of things. Let's listen to him.
I want to get into the gym, so I thought I'll just send you a video. She could explain that this idiot, what's his name? Matinyare, whatever, Rutendo. So you see, this idiot, what he did. Akatanga utuka msangano. Akatanga utuka president. So I used to have a lot of respect for this guy. I would text him, I would call him, how are you, Chichi? They had to mtengera Land Cruiser 300 cities. But ndakafunga kuti munhu ari kuzvioffer market too much wangaita zvo. So I wanted to first engage Comrade Namasanse. Munhu akaita basa ripi rakaitira musangano before I can acknowledge kuti ndimutende. I was happy to give him Land Cruiser on 250,000, some pocket change. Because I could see that this guy, to Asha to Ainato, you know. No, he was aggressive. I liked him because I could see what I would try. But the moment you switch and flip, you know what Tom Tank is. Unomira nezvinhu zvako, kana ukamira nemusangano, unotoya chema. A clever person would have come and say, Vachivayo. Ndakaita 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the party. Verify my superiors a party. Unoudzwa. Ndinotengerwa imba 500,000 kana muCreston Park. Ndikudo kana 250,000 Land Cruiser. I would go to the responsible, especially the types of the Chinamasses, because ndo wananyatsoziya zvinhu zveparty, ndo my lawyer, you know. I would even go to the principal himself and say, munomuzere muno chef. Do you have you heard about him? What? Yes, I've heard about him. Even $1 million, that's not a problem. $1 million I'd give him. But that's what first, because in this not time you go verify, you say, anything in the Shakutaur. But manje kuzotanga utuka ED, manje, but the moment you go to ED,
You know, the one thing I appreciate about the video that Wicknell Chivayo has made now is that he sets the record straight on some very important issues. And I know he's insulting me here, but I can tell that he's emotional. And he's emotional because they feel like they've lost a very powerful and a very valuable voice for their agenda to try and extend the president's term limit. He's also straightened out the fact that I've done some very important work. It's unfortunate that he says that I've done the important work for ZANU-PF, but I've done some very important work for Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans by removing sanctions on the country. And you can hear Wicknell saying he wishes he could have given me a car. He wishes that if I had financial problems, he could have given me money, and he would have even been willing to part with $1 million. Why would he want to part with $1 million for somebody who has done nothing? It's because I've done a lot. I've done a lot for the country. I've done a lot for ZANU-PF. The only problem is that Wicknell believes that I have turned because I wasn't getting money. That is not true. I have turned because I've refused to support the constitutional amendment without a referendum. I've refused to support this current president getting an extension of his term limit because I don't think that he's done enough. I think he's done okay. I think he's done mediocre, but I don't believe that he deserves a term extension. But even if he was to get a term extension, I'm saying it must go to referendum. Nowhere did I ever insult the president. Nowhere do I insult ZANU-PF. I've simply gone on to question, what has the president done? How many roads has he built? Has he put water into our houses? Has he fixed the railways? Has he done what he's supposed to? Does the gold of Zimbabwe benefit us, or is he misappropriating it? That's what I've said. Those are not insults. Then talks about Kudata Gure and says that Kudata Gure bought me cars and gave me a lot of money. The truth of the matter is that Kudata Gure never gave me a car. In fact, the car that he promised me never came in the whole 4 years that I knew him. But he did give us money to fight sanctions as an institution called Zimbabwe Anti-Sanctions Movement after the son of the president contacted me and said we must take the issue of sanctions to court after the United Nations came to Zimbabwe, measured the impact of sanctions and said that they were illegal. That United Nations came to Zimbabwe because of me. The lawyers till today have not been paid all their monies. There's about 3 million rand still outstanding to Simba Chitando and the South African lawyers who haven't been fully paid. then I, the person that wrote the entire anti-sanction strategy, which government used, the person that got the United Nations to come, the person they sent to speak to the ANC and to get the ANC to start fighting sanctions with us, the person they sent to convince the whole world of sanctions on Zimbabwe, and the person who successfully got the Congress of the United States to come and measure the negative impact of their sanctions and write a report to Biden asking for the sanctions to be removed, and the person who brought African lawyers and the AFBAR to start fighting sanctions, they never paid me. But I don't have a problem with that. My issue is I refuse to be a part and parcel of people that are violating human rights, jailing opposition, and burning down their offices for not supporting the extension of this constitution. Kuda was still committed to paying me, but I started refusing to support CAB 3.
This is the current situation we are having in our country. Isusu as news media, tiripopa kutsvagira nyaya. Tinouya nenyaya semawana atinenge tadziita. Hatina chatinowedzera kana kutapudza. Thank you so much for watching our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment, like, and share. And for that, I'm signing out.